So this is the worldwide exclusive license for Terminator 2 for the board game, and essentially we pitched it to the game studio, the movie studio, about sort of what this game is about. It's essentially there's a very small sequence in the movie that sort of hinted at what the future war might be like, the war against the machines, that we don't really get to see, and that's always been a question in my mind, is just what is that actually like? So we wanted players to experience the war, and this is T2029 represents Terminator in the year 2029, which is when the final days of John Connor, going into Skynet to take back Earth, essentially.
Cool.
So that's what this is representing, and the way that the objective of the game is manifold. Not only do you have to, so I'll just sort of reveal the cityscape so you get to see that a little bit. There's a big giant wall that's rolled off, and Skynet essentially has taken the entire city. And this is the outskirts of the city going in, and you need to get John Connor through, hack the system, defense grid, to be able to open the gates for him to go through and infiltrate. That's one of the objectives.
Okay.
But that's not enough, because, as you know in the movie, Terminator, Skynet is going to send T2029 to kill John Connor.
Yep.
So your job is to program T800 to be able to send him back to protect John Connor.
Gotcha.
So through this game, not only are you trying to get him through, trying to keep the Terminators at bay, but at the same time also trying to hack the systems. Okay, access denied. Okay, travel back to 1995. That's a successful one directive. Then we've got protect John Connor, second directive, and obey John Connor's commands. So once you've done that, you've successfully reprogrammed the system, T800, managed to get John Connor through to the gates, hack the systems to take the win. So obviously it's not as easy as just saying those things, because this game is actually really hard. And one thing that I was explaining previously is that there are many points of failures in the game. First point of failure is if the infiltration units, T1000, manage to infiltrate your squad or your army, then you immediately lose the game.
Okay.
You also immediately lose the game if any one type of your soldiers are gone. So these are your operational specialists and your combat soldiers. If your operational soldiers are gone, then you cannot do operations, you can't do covert operations, you immediately lose the game. You immediately lose the game if any of your soldiers, or any other types are gone as well.
Okay.
You also lose the game if you manage to get all the way through but not unsuccessfully hack the system and you've run out of turns, you lose the game.
Okay.
So there's lots and lots of points of failure, and the game is harsh. So during the start of the turn, each player can play up to 2 sets of actions. When you play one action, you place an action token. These are just prototypes. And then that sets you up for the action sequence that I'll sort of explain later.
Okay.
But you can optionally take a second action and try and do more things on your turn. The problem with doing more actions is that the more things you're doing, the more that the hunter-killer is actually scanning and trying to find where all the activities are happening. So for each action that's been taken, the hunter-killer moves on the track. So in this case, it moves 2 tracks, 2 spaces on the track. The way that the system works is that it has a threshold of 5, and these are the scanners that it's scanning. So currently it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, which means that it's 2 above 5. So it's past the threshold, it's going to start killing, and it's any number above 5 is the number of soldiers that it's going to pick off.
Oh, okay.
So 7 and 5, that's a difference of 2. Now you get to choose, luckily, but 2 guys are gone. Here's the catch though. The soldiers you have on the battlefield, that is it. There's no reinforcements.
Finite. Okay.
So
I suppose that makes sense.
yeah, this is there's no holding back in this game.
Right.
This is everything, you're throwing everything at the battle. So you can see how the more actions you take, it may actually be detrimental to your plans.
Yeah.
So in this case, I would advise not actually taking the second action, so then you're actually below the threshold.
I see.
Because at the end of your turn, you can actually discard a command, but then Skynet is going to reveal another one to replace it.
Oh, okay.
Luckily, in this case, notice that if it does move to the next part, it's 5. 5 and 5, you're fine.
I see.
So you need to balance the number of actions you're taking with the Hunter Seeker, because if the Hunter Seeker goes past, it makes a kill, it tastes blood, it's going to go off and deploy the tank.
Oh.
And the tank we're not revealing, but it's a tank, comes out, plonks down, and it devastates the entire region. So
wow.
really bad news. And if the tank is out, the only way to kill a tank is a special ability here that you have to take that requires a investment of 3 dice to be able to actually kill the tank. So it's expensive to kill it, basically. So each player, what we're not showing as well is the player boards, and the player boards will have variable player powers, which gives you different roles. So you can be like a combat specialist, a communications officer, different types. So 1 to 4, but we're looking at a 5th player balance tweak at the moment.
Okay.
So I'll quickly just explain how the dice works in the game, and that sort of will finish off. The way the dice work is that there is no rolling in the game. The dice is actually used as a drafting mechanic. So in this instance, you commit a dice to this battlefield. So these 3 dice relates to this region. These 3 dice relate to this region. These 3 dice relate to this region. You pick one of the dice to commit. Let's just say I commit a 5. That means that I can do a potential of 5 values worth of assault. But I've only got 3 combat guys. So the maximum combat I can take is 3. Now, if I had 5 guys there, then I can do 5 worth.
Okay.
So this is the potential, and this is the actual. Now, if it's a reverse though, I'm committing, the color doesn't matter.
Okay.
The dice. If I'm getting one pip, and I'm doing an assault, well, that doesn't really matter because I've got 3 guys, but I can only do 1 value worth of assault.
Okay.
So you want a higher pip dice count, the better it is. Once you've committed it, then you do the assault, you push back the tide of war, this thing here, based on the amount that you're attacking. Then it gets committed down this zone here. Top row are immediate benefits that you can take. For example, if you put it here, you can move the Jeep. Put it here, you can actually just move a dice off another board. This one changes the pip counts. Down below are future turn abilities. So if you plonk it down here, it doesn't do anything. But another player later down the track can take it off to use that ability.
Okay.
So you're actually setting it up for your partners, for your teammates to actually do things.
Cool.
So this is a different game sort of dynamic that you might have seen in the past, where when you're playing a co-op game, sometimes you just want your friends to finish their turn to get back to you so they can do something cool. This is actually a future turn thing where you're setting up the glory for another player to take. So everyone's going to go, I'm going to set up to kill the tank, I'm going to plonk it down there, you're going to do the same, and then you're going to kill the tank. So you're setting up for other players to actually take the glory, which feels quite thematic because this is all about everybody needs to work as a team, well-oiled machine, because you slip and you're going to lose the game. So that's sort of how that works. And then once you've committed the dice, you have to take another dice and you actually place it down here. The perk system. So the perk system is similar to something like Fallout, the video game where you've got perks. This is quite cool because you get to change the pip to whatever dice count that you want. And then you can commit it. So let's just say that you want the Jeep really badly. So you commit it as a 6, you place it down, and now you can deploy the Jeep. And you deploy the Jeep out here because you know that you're going to try and fight back the war in this skirmish over here. So that happens. Now during any player's turn, this is communal perks. So every player gets to do all these special abilities for each of the dice that is actually placed on here. But here's the catch. As these dice come through, they become permanent mainstays in your board. You become more and more powerful because there are more and more of these perks that you're getting. Fewer and fewer dice is actually on the battlefield. That's a problem because you need the dice to make the assaults.
Okay.
So you have a tough choice because at the start of your turn, you have to now make a decision about which of these dice you can actually take off and place on the battlefield. to use.
And yeah, okay. Gotcha.
But the moment that you take it away, you'll lose the perk.
You're losing that perk. Gotcha. Oh,
So
cool. All right.
that's a 6 pip. That's really, really awesome because there are some cards in here that's going to come out. The only way to kill it is a 6, and you'll find out it's about to come. But the moment that you take your 6 and you commit it to this region, you lose your Jeep.
Gotcha.
And a Jeep is a really useful sort of asset in the game. So there's a lot of that push and pull about sort of what are the things you're going to keep versus what are the ones you need to put onto the board.
Tough decisions for sure. Yeah. To
Yeah.
decide.
So it seems like this is really the only place you can change the die facing,
Yes.
other than like increasing it one or.
Yes.
So like using that is also thinking ahead, like, well, we'll get the ability that's 5, but then it's also a good 5 to use later.
Yes. But as you also know that there's only one 6 that you can commit.
Yeah.
So once that is there, unless you take it off,
Yeah.
you can't put another 6 there.
Yeah.
So you want to
take that off and then get another one there as another 6.
on your turn perhaps.
Right.
So in my turn I take it off.
Yeah.
On your turn you can put it back. But by the time I've already lost the Jeep during that turn, because between turns, that's when the Skynet activates.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So you want to make sure that you have the Jeep, but then you lose the Jeep for that one moment. Yeah.
So when you take it off of there, how long does it stay a 6? Does it ever go back to a number?
It stays a 6 all the way through, and then until you want to change
So you
it.
go back to here.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
So if it stays on board, it'll be a 6 for quite a while.
Yes.
Does the Hunter Seeker reset between player turns?
Yes, so once it does the kill, it goes up into the deploy mode and it goes back to the starting zone. The tank won't actually activate until it goes past the threshold again, which is over here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The tank is going to do something, and then the Hunter Seeker is going to go back to
Okay.
0. So it has this sort of cycle of...
So it
going through.
resets once it gets a kill.
Yes.
It doesn't.
Okay.
There's
Yeah.
nothing to safely reset it.
So
Yes.
if each one of us takes 2 turns while it's here, and the threshold's 5, that thing won't move.
Yep.
So we can safely do like a couple actions each, before, and it won't move.
So the moment that a kill happens, it moves up to deploy mode. So it comes back to deploy and not deploy, deploy, not deploy. So it's going to come through here, makes a kill, starts from 0 again, you take a couple of turns,
Yeah.
move a couple of turns, tank is going to do something, gets a kill, it gets a kill, goes back to 0, go through up again.
So you're either dealing with the tank or the killer.
Yes, or the
So
killer.
there's always something.
It only kills if you break
Break past the
past
threshold.
it. So it's
yeah.
not equal or past it. It's just got to be past it.
Past
Equal
it,
is
yeah.
Okay, cool.
Equal is safe, yeah.
Wow.
And does that get increased at all? How does that?
Yeah, so over time, more cards. So this is based on the threshold.
Oh, okay.
Once you pass this zone, now a new card comes out.
Gotcha.
Pass this zone, and then a new card comes out.
Very cool.
Cool.
What are these right here?
So these
You've
are the
already
hacking
filled-
tiles. Yeah.
Okay, so they're additional ones.
So I'll explain how that works. In effort for you to actually hack this, you need to break the link, and breaking the link determines based on the sequence of symbols that you see here. So if you have a symbol that happens to be a triangle and a circle, you've got a triangle and a circle in this instance, you can actually do a hack. But once you hack it, the 3s come out, and it makes the sequence more difficult to actually do.
Oh, okay.
So it's not easy to, and then you hack that basically. The 4s are only out in the final fight basically.
So once you get the 3, that you reveal that.
Yeah. Yes.
So you have to reveal
okay.
it to a 3 and then get that.
Yeah.
So each of these you got to do twice.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Cool.
So yeah, that's how the hacking works. Now that's why there are perks. For example, this one that allows you to swap the command cards out around.
Okay, so it has to be in the exact order.
So you need to be in the exact sequence, reading from left to right.
Gotcha.
So in this case, you've got a circle and a triangle. You don't have a situation there. That's that.
And it doesn't matter if they're on the same card like that.
No, this is either of the one. So in this case, you need the circle to be here, and then the triangle to be here to be able to do the hack there.
Is the circle?
Actually,
Are the ones in the center? Are they wild? Like they could either be top or bottom?
Yeah,
So,
it's
like,
either of the two.
Okay.
They're actually a full wild, which is very scary to look at because it gives you all the different symbols. It's got 4 skulls on
Oh,
this.
yeah.
So I want to show you something that's really cool. We deliberately faded the art, but they're all unique artwork, so you can barely see it on purpose. So we'll have a full review, but I can show it to you now. That is a first person perspective of the T800 with its gun sights mowing down the soldiers. This one is 2 hunter killers flying past, mowing down the soldiers.
Oh yeah. Oh wow.
So once we reveal it, it's going to look quite cool.
Sure.
Nice.
Yeah. So anything else to talk about?
So how do those cards come in?
So these cards come in.
So when you do these,
Yes. So the moment that you pass this threshold is when this check comes in. And it tells you essentially that you have to commit a dice of at least that value. So this is, if you don't get that, you immediately lose a guy. This is where you lose a guy, and you also get infiltrated, basically, if you don't do 5.
okay.
And the thing is, at this point, I don't have a 5 dice to commit, so that's definitely going to happen. So having the dice on here is really important.
So you can't commit dice that are down here to
Nope.
these. They have to be on the board.
In the field.
So that's
yeah.
a trade-off of having too many perks.
Yes, and if you've successfully done that, you actually you have to commit the guys. So say that in zone, I've committed the 4 dice to this, basically. So once you've committed it, then one of the guys will have to come join John Connor.
And he
So-
stays with them all along the way?
Yes,
Oh, so you're losing.
which means that you're losing your guys in the battlefield.
Oh.
And then the
Now-
same thing happens here, so you get a second
Yes, and then 2 more cards, 3 cards actually will come out, and then more guys will get committed to his cause. They are kind of useful though, because if you fight and you are losing your guys, you can actually use these as fodder. So they get picked off first before the guys on the battlefield gets picked off. So, but the thing is, you don't have guys on the
Yeah,
field.
it makes you weaker to fight, but
Yeah,
at
yeah.
least you can protect them.
Yes.
So now you mentioned this was an early prototype. What's the timeline? Do you know?
So it's going to go on Kickstarter in 6 weeks.
Okay.
So we're actually further along in the development than what we're showing.
Okay.
Because obviously, at some point, you're going to have to say we're going to have to make a prototype.
Right.
But our team is still working on it. Has been working on it for a while now. So it's going to come out in 6 weeks, and retail release we're looking at sort of Q2 of 2018. Yeah.
All right. Awesome, man. Well, thanks so much for showing us. That looks
Yeah.
looks really
Thank you so much for coming. Yeah.
Thanks a lot. So that was the Terminator. Was it 20? T229. I got it now. We just checked out that demo.
2029.
What'd you guys think?
It was good. It's very complex. There's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of different pieces to learn about.
Super difficult co-op,
It,
so.
It's a little confusing looking at
Yeah.
the board. It's a little kind of busy when you first look at it. But
The components aren't finished yet either, so it's still a prototype. So there's just little cubes, which are what does that do? But I'm assuming they'll make them into figures that are going to be a little more unique. And but other than that, it's really cool. I mean, who doesn't love Terminator 2?
yeah, that's kind of our jam. Like kids of the '80s, that's what we want to do is play Terminator games. So
The miniatures are really cool. I was talking for a little bit on it. They're not just going to be generically colored, all the same plastic pieces. They're going to do a little bit of a wash, so they're going to look nice. Maybe not to the extent that we see them over there. They're going to have a tank, large as they could
haven't
get.
revealed the tank
It's
yet.
going
He wants
to make it as
to
big
be
as he
neat.
can, I heard
We asked
that.
about it. It's not there yet, and I had also asked him about the T1000. So right now there's just a little token to move around. They're talking about maybe actually getting a mini Robert Patrick running around, which
So
would be cool.
Kickstarter in 6 weeks. So I will say, looking at that, it's a pretty early prototype. So it's good to hear
Well, I said this is an early prototype, and they're further along
they
than
are
what they have here.
Like the art on the cards isn't even they're covering up the art because
Yeah.
they don't want
Yeah.
to show yet. But
Yeah.
I will say though, for as kind of plain as part of the boards and that look, I'm kind of glad that I was kind of sold on the game. I think the game sounds interesting, regardless of the fact that half the components aren't done. I think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
I'm definitely gonna keep my eye on it. That
I
looks
think
cool.
it's pretty cool. The board's full of art. You saw it in the clip, but it's there's art all over the board, just where it doesn't necessarily need to be. The whole thing is filled in. It's cool. Every card is different, pretty much.
Yeah. Variable player powers too. We didn't even get to see that.
Oh,
So
yeah,
there's a ton of stuff we didn't even see. So.
Yeah, they don't have. Everybody has a character sheet. It's up to 4, possibly 5. He said, it looks pretty awesome.
Cool. Yeah. Color me interested for sure.